Okay, everybody, we are gonna get started. I want to welcome you all for attending today's workshop. My name is Bea Smith, and I'm the director of the Northern Innovation Startup Center. So I always like to thank you for showing up, because I feel like one of the hardest things is actually showing up when you say yes to doing something. And taking that first step in learning and embracing technology to make your workflows a little bit easier. So I'm gonna start off with some ground rules. Don't worry, they're hard. My first thing is, I just want to let you all know that this experience is what you make of it. I'm going to speak on behalf of our facilitator today, Rich. We welcome questions. Please ask the questions. Please dig a little deeper with some of the things you're learning to gain a better understanding of how things work. Technology is not my friend. So if your technology is not working throughout today's hands-on session, or if you just need maybe a little bit more help, please raise your hand. One of us will definitely come and help you. If today's concepts, if we're throwing a lot at you, and you're like, oh, I really want to maybe pause, go a little bit slower, let us know. We can slow things down. But also just know that today's workshop, in addition to all of our other workshops, are available online. So we have a very robust of online workshops that you can go back and participate in. Am I forgetting anything, Kendra? No. Okay, so before I hand it over to Rich, I would like to know who is in both the room and then as well as online. So online people, we will ask you to unmute yourself. We do have you up on the screen, so if you want to turn on your camera, we would welcome you to do that. What I would like us to do in today's introduction is number one, tell us who you are and what organization you're with. And then the second thing, I really like fun questions. Kendra hates them. She told me she's a crock pot, so I'm gonna let the crock potters in the room know what the fun question is. And the fun question is, what is your favorite thing to do on a rainy day? So who you are, who you're with, and what is your favorite thing to do on a rainy day? Oh, I think somebody left. They heard the question, like, I'm out. I love that.
I just remembered it's a rainy day and I'd rather be doing this.
Right, right. Okay, so I will kick us off. My name is Bea Smith, and like I said, I'm the director of the Northern Innovation Startup Center. And my favorite thing to do on a rainy day is eat a big bowl of Niffler soup. Kendra, do you want to go down?
I'm Kendra Hines. I'm with the Aberdeen Development Corporation and the Northern Startup Center. And my favorite thing to do when it's rainy out is read a book.
Mike Weiss, Brown County Commissioner, and a whole bunch of other stuff. My favorite thing to do on a rainy day would be sleep in.
Sleep in.
My name is Carl Perry, Senator for this area, and for rainy day, I like to have rainy days just like other days. I just do what I do, just like any other day.
Gail Northrup, State Legislature, 11 Entertainment at Thunder Road. Rainy day, I'm kind of like Carl, I just, I don't pay much attention to the weather, I just do what I need to do.
Ellen Weaver, Small Business Development Center. These days it's not a matter of what I like to do on a rainy day, but probably what I have to get done on a rainy day. So it's a day to clean the house or catch up on work or whatever it might be. And I'm not going to some other outside event.
I'm Nancy Crum, and I'm with Northern International Programs. And I love to read.
Zach Keller with Blessed Sacrament Pastorate, so St. Mary's Sacred Heart Churches. And I honestly like to go outside in the rain. So just, or be under like a tin roof or a tent, do something. Just actually just experience it.
Jennifer Brown, I'm with Minds Matter, and honestly, I just like to curl up on my couch with a heated blanket and watch a movie.
Okay. I'm Moses Langley. I'm a student in Northern State University. I'm also done as a STEM, but as part of the Innovation Center. And the rainy day, I would like to be in a long blanket.
Jay French, retired banker, and today, on this rainy day, I got some inside work done and an AI workshop.
Great. Yeah, workshop's a great way to spend a rainy day. I love it.
I'm Lila. I'm also a student at Northern, and my favorite thing to do in a rainy day is swim.
Swim. Okay. Our online participants, Eric, do you want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Erin. I'm a student at Northern. Actually had a prior commitment, otherwise I'd be there in person, but I was just really excited to be here to listen in. So I'm gonna keep myself muted and off so that way I don't interrupt anything, but one thing I like to do on rainy day is read.
Awesome, thanks for sharing. Okay, Austin.
Yep, I'm Austin Sprinkle. I own Next Gen Waterfowl, and I like usually watching a movie on a rainy day.
Great, thank you. And is that Ashley? Ashley? Here.
Hi, my name is Ashley Kelp. I'm a junior at Northern State University, majoring in accounting. Something that I really like to do on a rainy day is clean.
I can get behind that. Okay, so I'm super excited to introduce today's facilitator, so I'm gonna give you my spiel, and then you gotta give us your answers. So when Kendra and I had the idea of doing an AI, workshop, Rich was one of the first people we thought of, because if there's somebody I know in our network that truly embraces AI, work smarter and not harder, it is Mr. Ward. So.
I hate working hard, so she's 100% right. Yeah.
Well, I'll hand it over to you. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and telling us your favorite rainy day activity, I think that'd be a great way of kicking us off.
Appreciate it, thank you. So yeah, my name is Rich Ward with Aberdeen Development Corporation. My favorite thing to do on a rainy day, I definitely don't love being put on the spot, but I think there is just something to admire with this technology where we get to be inside a building and look outside through glass at the weather outside. So I think it's just, you guys all had it, you know. Stay inside, get comfy, get cozy, turn up the heat a little bit. I don't know, I actually like snowy days a lot, and just looking outside, looking at, I don't know. That's, I think it's self-motivated. Really appreciate you guys, for coming out today. Before I forget, real quick, Austin, I've been owing you a phone call. We should get together. You do the custom duck goose calls, correct?
Yep, that's me.
Awesome. We should read about it. It's about hunting season, so we should get together again. Anyways.
Definitely, let's get something together.
Yes, sir. Very good. I'm gonna have to get his contact for weekend or something. But really want to talk to you guys, excited to talk to you guys about something that I'm passionate about. I appreciate Kendra and these kind words. I don't know if I'm necessarily an expert in AI, but I definitely feel that I'm an early adopter of AI, of other technology. I like to get my hands dirty, roll my sleeves a little bit and see what we can do. So I've been using, I remember hearing a ChatGPT, I think it was early or late 2022, I believe. And I remember telling some of my family, some of my coworkers, like, I believe this is the best technology, the most influential technology, 2022 and 2023, and maybe further beyond. And I think we're starting to realize some of those, you know, just the potential that AI can have. So before, when you guys are walking in, give you guys a couple more seconds if you haven't, but and those online, you can scan the QR code. Sorry to include a link there, but basically I'll pull up a little document that shows, hey, what AI tools are you using? What do you want to learn about? What have you heard about? I think that's really all the intro. So let me just try to slide over other way onto one more. Here we go. So got one participant type in, let me just hit refresh here, get the word cloud up, just to kind of take a look, and like B said as well, want this to be interactive, so if you guys appreciate you bringing your laptop, as we get going, I have what, 10 slides or something. Thank you, Kendra, for helping me, coaching me up. No joke, guys, I had about 100 slides, and Kendra's like, that's probably a little long, so Kendra saved you guys from like a 3-hour lecture, and then very good coaching, so help me work smarter, not harder there, and save you guys some time as well. But really want this to be interactive, so if you guys do have questions, feel free to stop. If you guys are seeing something along the way, you're like, you know what, I want to tune out and try to build a little marketing workflow, whatever that is. Please, more than welcome. That's why I encourage you to bring your laptops, but also pop in, ask questions as well. Same thing online. Maybe online, if you do have questions, just type it in, and then Kendra or me, you guys can holler at me for that. But I guess looking up here at the board, anything surprising? Obviously, ChatGPT, Gemini are the big two. Siri, Perplexity, any of these that you guys haven't heard of? Any of these on here that are surprising? Prize at all? Lean, I don't know if I've heard of Lean, any of these that are, that stand out to you guys? How about this, maybe instead of forcing, or, yeah, Kelly?
Not surprising necessarily, but like Grammarly and Canva
Yeah.
are online softwares,
Yes.
not built as AI, but you
Yeah.
have I mean, they are building in AI.
Yep.
AI has been built in a lot of software over the year, but those to see, when you ask for AI tools,
Right,
I'm kind of surprised that those come up because that's not how they were first generated.
that's a really good point too, and you can see, and they even went deeper into it, you can see that some of these existing, SaaS companies, software as a service companies, are now really pivoting, and maybe not even a pivot, but really just working smarter, leveraging AI, they're putting that into their workflows, both to help their customers, but really they can drive customers, all the plugins that ChatGPT has, well, that's helping other customers. Canva was first plugged into ChatGPT, and then they're like, all right, we're getting a lot of users, so maybe we should actually plug in AI into our direct software, so that's a really good point there. Does anyone not use ChatGPT? Anyone not use ChatGPT? I'm guessing everyone has. Has anyone heard of Perplexity? You guys know what that is? Pretty common there, an AI browser. I think we do talk about that, so maybe I'll save that. Yeah, I just think this is fascinating because Grammarly, that's one that I do have installed. I've had it installed for a long time. Just more for spell checks, but now it's also fully paid. You want to make your sentence more formal, more professional. You need to actually buckle down and know you need to get this done, supplier. Make sure you ship it on time. So those are really fun. I appreciate you guys participating there. Slide back into the slideshow. So really overview of today's topic, guys. You think Kendra cut down the slides. I'm going to just go through a little over 10 slides today, and then I'll go into some live AI workflows that I find helpful, or maybe you guys can kind of more. And again, I want to get input from you guys on it. If you guys want to apply an AI workflow for writing sermons, whatever that may be, maybe we hold on that. But I do have as an example to that. I appreciate having a pastor come in here. I know some pastors very much, oppose of it. Think that AI could be an antichrist. That's an interesting topic. We're not going to deep dive down that. However, I think using AI, the more information to it, such as transcripts or a pastor's sermon, if you just use that alone, it's fun to actually interact with that. So that's something I've showed my pastor before on, hey, I took your entire sermon, your transcript, plugged it in, and I'm just having that transcript now, having an interaction with it to understand the topics a little bit more. And so it's all about how you use something there. So I think every one of us could probably take something out of today's, but again, I'm also looking forward to learning from you guys as well on, hey, this is how I'm using AI. Maybe there's something else that I haven't heard of. This, again, it's a very rapidly advancing workflow. Yeah.
I've been showing ChatGPT to a couple different people, and something that you can do that's kind of cool is, let's say, Mike, we can say, tell me the 5 attributes of Mike running for Brown County Commissioners. And it'll come up with 5 things, and it'll give you where it came from.
Yes.
There could be a quote from 5 years ago or whatever, and it, so it's not made up. It's very interesting. And then, what would be the 5 areas that would cause Mike to stumble if he ran for a re-election?
Yeah.
And it tells you those things too. And I didn't use it for Mike, I used it for Carl, but it's the same thing.
It's a great point, and you're right. Keep in mind that AI can hallucinate, and we won't necessarily talk about that, but that is a matter of fact. But AI is, the GPT, they're realizing it, like, hey, we should probably cite sources when we're saying this kind of stuff on what let's use me. What's Rich Ward's campaign strategy? Well, what did I say in meetings? And please cite that source. So they're getting better and better at that. And that's something as well as don't just type in a prompt, just don't do a one shot, be like, that's it. Keep on plugging more information, push back on it. If you see something that's out there or, oh, please cite that source. Let's deep dive in that a little bit. I think on the little sheet you guys have as well, I think Kendra, you put that might be in the demo too that we talked about, but, is it the competitor one? Act as a small business strategist, analyze current trends for your industry or niche. You guys insert that and suggest 3 low-cost ways I can stand out from a competitor. So a little bit different, but on that point, anyone in business here should realize that it's really important to know what your competitors do, and you can leverage AI to do a lot of the research. So really AI crossroads, I like to compare it with back when computers were first coming out. The internet was really starting to take over. I feel like we're at a similar one, so I don't think I need to think of probably preaching required here for people that, hey, they want to plug into AI. We obviously need to understand it. No, you don't need, please don't put in your personal information. Don't put in confidential intellectual property information for your employer in there. You need to be careful about that. But at the same time, I think those who use AI are going to stand out. So just have a couple of quotes that I put up here, from various, whether it be CEO of Microsoft. I like Tim Ferriss, 4-Hour Workweek is a great book. Jeannie, 40-year career at IBM. I love her quote. I've used it a lot, that AI will not replace humans, but those who use AI will replace those who don't. And that's kind of the crossroad I really believe we're at today. Those that push into it, understand the tool, don't let it be your entire, creativity. Don't offload all of your creativity there, but really use it as a strategic thinking partner might be the best way to put it. So diving in, I had to keep these ones, Kendra. So just before I get into AI, just kind of comparing it, CPU, GPU. GPU is really what makes AI possible. CPU, that's a central processing unit, do one problem at a time really, really well. GPU basically does parallel processing, so it can analyze a lot of information at once and spit out a more complicated result. I have a little video here from our favorite scientists, Mythbusters, just to compare it. There will be no volume, just so you guys online know. But I'll just kind of hit play and talk through it. Basically, I think this is the best way to visualize the difference between the two, and I'll get back on why I think that's important. So they're just going to hit a button, and this is basically a visual of what a CPU does. It's solving one problem at a time. And in this case, they're going to paint a picture of a smiley. Okay. Now comparing it to a GPU, and this is with paintball guns. So instead of firing information through internet cables, they're using the visual for paintball because it's tough to see speed of light cables going. So they're going to paint a different picture. This would be the GPU example. And 3, 2, 1, paints the Mona Lisa, basically all in one shot. I love that example because more information, even though it's a click of a button, but it's able to do a lot more. So GPUs, they really make video games possible, but they're the backbone of AI. And that is the key, is the more information that you can plug into an AI, it can actually give you better results. So we have a few very, very basic results we'll get into here in a little bit. But just keep in mind, the more information you're providing it, and whether that be training data, such as, I did in the pastor example in my situation where, I downloaded the entire, it's a global Methodist church, so I downloaded the church doctrine and various documents there, and that's how the AI has to respond to any questions. It has to refer both to the transcript I provided and these other documents, and then any output needs to cite those, whether it be the transcript that the pastor said or the other ones. So more information that you provide to AI, typically the better the results are. That's because that's just how GPUs work. They can parallel process lots of information, spit out cool results. So how does this help me? I'm not going to go build a artwork with paintball, but I'm going to use the live example here, and then mock example, and then we'll get to some live examples. It's just coding your own app without actually knowing how to code. So a few examples I threw up here. I'll be using Replit in my example. Each of these do have 3 options too, just so you guys know. And really each of those can help build you, an MVP or minimal viable product on their free model. As you guys advance, if you want, as an example, Replit, if you pay $20 a month, instead of just having your app hosted at Replit, you could have like a custom URL. But each of these are really, really nice because they also do the deployment of the app which I think is so much more handy. Even then, just 6 months to a year ago, Cursor AI was a very, very common platform people were using instead of Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is where you go in, manually type in HTML, CSS, all that, JavaScript, and put together, an app or a website, and then you need to go deploy it. Cursor had a plugin where they can just, hey, let's plug in some AIs into it to help the coding platform. We still needed to figure out how to deploy your app, deploy your website. This guy's tall, so I didn't even recommend Cursor as an awesome learning tool, but you can do a lot of damage with these, and the biggest functionality I really think is just the one-click deploy. It's really, really nice. So I'll show a live example here on this little video, another 40. So this is the Replit. This is not $1 million idea, but before I proceed, so look down below there. Different options that it has. We can do a web app, which is what I'm doing, data app, 3D game, other items that you can kind of have it focus on. In this case, all I'm asking is, you can see up there, let's build an app, basically an emoji translator. So again, not $1 million idea, but something I just wanted to show you guys for fun. So I pasted that instruction up there, and I hit web app, I'm letting it go, and it's working, it's syncing. So it doesn't do the entire build out in 47 seconds, but we'll let it run here. But within 10 minutes, guys, I built this app, and I actually did plug it into AI as well. This took Gemini API, which is free. The app can walk you through how to get an API if you need to, and it saves it in a secrets folder within a database. It just solves everything. It walks you through. I'm not an expert at this, but here, so then it's basically done, and it's saying, it laid out a plan for us, and it's asking, do you want to change the plan? Or if I go scroll down below here, which I don't show, it either says build minimal app or build the full build app. Do you want to just see a little, let's work it, let's make sure that you can see a visual, or should we do the visual and all the back end to it? If you do all the back end to it, it'll take a little bit more time. If you're on a paid plan, maybe more credits. If you're on a free plan, that's probably going to take all your credits for that day, resets the next day. So slows down a little bit of your productivity. But basically what it did then, and you guys, this is deployed. It's at emoji-translator.replit app. You guys could use it. And basically all it is, the most simple web app. You type in your sentence up there, it translates to emojis, and then Google Gemini puts that up. Again, it's not groundbreaking whatsoever. You can see how easy it's done just with the basic idea. And I didn't change anything else up after I gave it that one sentence instruction, other than here's an API, because that required for it to, or also would just put a bunch of emojis in there that didn't actually correlate to what our original text was. So just want to encourage you guys, not that this is going to be handy for you guys, but understand that you guys, I'm guessing there's probably, whether it be little small problems you guys have within your organization, something that you have to do every single month, maybe every single week, that may be a web app. Maybe you can find a workflow that involves AI to help really streamline that and solve. So yeah, questions?
When you said it built the app and it deploys it.
Yeah.
Explain what you mean by deploy.
Great question. I don't know all the steps, to be honest, Kelly. I understand there's like a bundling of packages and you need to link the different codes, because it basically is an HTML website with some JavaScript and all that. I can maybe connect some of those in with the coding process, but as far as the entire deployment and to package those together and then push them forward to a website, it's a great question. I honestly don't even know, but what it does is it does that for you. You kind of define, hey, do you want to use emoji translator? Do you want to edit this? That's really the biggest step that involves for you once you click on Replit's deploy button, and Lovable, the other bolt would be the same. This is kind of the biggest thing that you change, as well as, well, what are you going to use that for? How many computers do you want us allocating for you based on the number of users? So if you guys scan this and it loaded up really slow, that's because I'm using like one computer at the lowest, RAM, because I don't want to pay for this app. If 100 people go here, it will crash, and I want it to. if I had an actual Instagram, the next Instagram you're building, you'd want to build up so you have more CPU or GPU processing power behind that, so it runs effectively. So it's a great question. I honestly don't know.
Basically,
all
it
the
creates
steps.
the website for you.
Yeah,
I mean, so that
Yeah.
you could access the link or share it with whoever.
yeah, that'd be the simpler way to put it. It does all that heavy lifting and just pushes it to a public facing view. Yeah.
Which they're hosting then.
Which they're hosting, exactly. In this case that I have here, this is totally free. If I want to pay for the free version and call this, go buy emojitranslator.com, I can do that. And then I can go and change that. That would be the paid version. But Carl, I'll go to you and then B.
Well, I took and, went on the Q code there and, I put in there, Cheryl is an amazing wife. And it gave me an emoji transformation to translation.
There we go. Did you understand what that means? I don't know how beneficial that is to anyone whatsoever, but
If I show this to Cheryl and I told her I thought about it, it'll be beneficial.
I might have hit a few of those throughout the presentation as we went down and edited. Those may have came off it, but I did have a few as I went to work smarter, not harder. I think I hit that in some of the few, but again, when you reduce the presentation down to 10%, thank you, Kendra, for making sure we're not a 3-hour training.
Just to kind of connect this back to like what we're doing, how this could apply to you. Oftentimes, this is a really great opportunity for founders if you're gonna go pitch a business idea. And let's say you want to demo it, right? Like you want that to be a part of your presentation. A lot of founders will use something like this to show that minimum viable product, to give illustration to a concept that you may be thinking about, but like, what does it actually look like? This is a very accessible way to kind of go what you were alluding to, Kelly, is this would be a great implication for
Are any of the big idea people using this?
that, potentially.
What are they now? Did any of them in the past?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Yeah, one thing I've observed too, oftentimes with, at least with ChatGPT a lot, is that the AIs are, I don't know how to use this sensitive adjective, but they are basically sycophants, right? We're like, do you think this is a great idea? Oftentimes we're like, yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah.
And then, so it's like, I've always kind of struggled about like, okay, how do I get more honest feedback? I guess that's where the human comes in too, but yeah, that's one thing I've been discerning too. Yeah, I was like if I want my email to sound more, nice, professional, friendly, like make it, we'll do it.
Yes.
But, yeah,
The critical thinking aspect.
yeah, people, yeah, that's better.
And I like how you use the word discern. I 100%, as we're using it, we need to realize that, Carl's point, it's getting better, it's getting more accurate. If we want to make a scouting report on just, a competitive community business, it can probably do that very well, but you should still read it. Don't ever just type something in a ChatGPT and then just go post it. And that's like, that is your own work. You can't retract that. Oh, that was using ChatGPT, but like, no, it's still coming from you. You need to have discernment. Like, is this accurate information? But I know what you mean too, where usually it is, oh, that's the best idea ever. Awesome. Yeah, you should definitely go do that. Well, maybe push back a little bit. Are you sure? Am I missing any steps at all? Is this what a successful business entrepreneur, is this the right order of option that you should go with for this? So it's a good point. You need to still have discernment, because it can be, it's a partner. It's not your only employee. I guess kind of a little rabbit trail. I would encourage, I think we mentioned, solo entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. That's something that I understand. When you're starting a business, you have limited resources, you can't go and just go mass hire by any means. So using AI as a thinking partner is awesome, but it still doesn't replace. You still need to build out a team. So understand that, even with AI agents coming out, I don't have examples there, but AI agents are becoming increasingly sophisticated, where they can basically, you can deploy it. Hey, go do research, go browse the website, go browse the internet wherever you need to go. If you need to log in, just let me know and I'll log in for you. ChatGPT has agent mode where it can go do some really cool research for you. At the same time, you still have to discern that information. You still need to, and it doesn't replace the human. You gotta start, you gotta keep hiring, but maybe before you can hire, accounting, legal team, all that, maybe you can help AI get you by on some of the, at least minimal viable business plans. So instead of doing the next interactive poll, I think we'll just hop in, do a quick time check here. Yeah, we'll skip over this one, but we'll do some live examples. And so let me pull up ChatGPT here, and we'll just go into, I guess the first one does anyone have, so on the first sheet, we'll kind of go into the whole worksheet. Of course, ChatGPT figured that was going to be the most common that people have heard of. Gemini was right up there as well. So I'm glad we have that, number 3. Does anyone have any ideas that you'd like to, I have a few that we could just plug and play, but at the same time, if you guys have a live example that Mr. Perry, Senator Perry's idea on, hey, let's do some research on it. Maybe won't do that one as an example, but if you guys have, hey, I'm struggling to create a marketing plan for my business. I mean, if you don't mind, we could do that with a live example, or I can use just one that we come up with. Any thoughts, anything online at all? I mean, Austin, we could do a duck call, work plan or something like that for you, or any thoughts? I'm gonna stop talking so you guys, someone jump in.
No thoughts from here, just listening in and writing down ideas.
Austin, what's your idea?
I use ChatGPT to come up with language for emails. For sales that are going on at a location, so. I usually type in, I need language for a sale, this is the subject, or this is the type of sale, this is what percentage you get off. What can I write?
I love it.
'Cause,
What type is that for photography?
no, it's for the wool shop.
Wolf shop, okay. Wolf shop or wolf shop?
Wool shop.
But, okay, inside Northern, right?
Yeah.
Do you mind if we do that? Could we do a little marketing?
Yeah.
And instead of, so I like the email funnel. Let's actually start there. That's perfect. So, just gonna use voice to, try to go a little bit faster here, so I'm not to type. Let's build out a email funnel, a sales email funnel that we'll use for the Wolf Shop, which is an on-campus Northern bookstore offering apparel and other NSU related branded items. NSU is Northern State University. And so I'm just gonna plug that in, and again, that was just voicing, so it's gonna plug in, hopefully, what I asked it to there. Again, working smarter, not harder, just in it's a little bit. So we'll just hit go on it. I didn't define it, so there's already a problem that I can see within this. I don't think we're defining how many emails. So are you guys familiar with the sales? So I guess like a email funnel, sales funnel at all? So basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my idea would be someone interested, someone walking by, you want to try to capture their email. And so, maybe get a 10% discount, something to capture a lead. And then, so once you get that email, well, it only is beneficial if maybe you send them an email and try to engage with the people. So that's kind of what an email funnel is. Email 1 would be, hey, appreciate you signing up. Here's your 10% off. I can't wait to see you in the bookstore. But then, you don't have that coupon code being captured, and this is something you build within, your email system, whether it be MailChimp or a lot of others, where, hey, if this link wasn't clicked, or if this coupon wasn't redeemed, maybe the internal workflow with the database, let's send it another email. And basically, you're building out steps to try to capture a sale. That could be different, it doesn't necessarily have to be with the coupon code, there could be a lot of ways, but basically the step is just, hey, maybe provide a little bit more information, what are your benefits? And maybe it's as simple as an upsell, hey, I signed up for the $1 a month version of something, offer the benefits to your $10 one, it's things like that. So a sales funnel, email funnel really is a sales funnel. So let's see what it basically is doing here, brand and introduction. So that's exactly kind of what we talked about. Hey, welcome to the Wolfpack. Second email, even without defining it, it's doing a pretty good job at giving it this, even though I didn't define it. We want this to be 3 emails. We want this to be 10 emails. We'll see what it runs with. So social media proof and bestsellers, event tie-ins, seasonal drop-in, all good ideas there. But is that as good as we can do? Like, be honest, is that, we already missed out on some cues. We didn't really define it. So how could we potentially improve this 5 emails that it gave? It actually gives us a few tips here. Oops. Any thoughts? Would you guys be ready to deploy this? Is this actually helpful? Be honest.
I'd be afraid to go to a spam folder.
There's no text. It's not even a body of email yet, right? Great ideas. Thank you. But again, I think that's because I didn't define, what I was asking for yet. So let's just go back in real quick. Let's actually have it define a subject line and also start drafting out the body of the email. Let's target first year students that are potentially new on campus. See what it does there. Again, it should be a little bit better. It's going to do a header now. It has the body text. It has even a call to action button. Awesome. So maybe you can not only use that on your social media, but Facebook. You always want to have a good, strong call to action, assuming that you're trying. Keep in mind, a great marketing plan is going to kind of link these two together. So I like how we have a piece of little, let's see, is that only one email? Interesting. So it did one email again. But we could go in and keep pushing through it. So that's probably the first email. Hey, as a welcome offer, here's 10% off your first purchase for wolves just like you. So let's build out a second one, or potentially, all right, let's look to use this as a social media post. So we could just go type in, great, adjust this to a social media post. As simple as that. And of course, it'll change it up a little bit. It should definitely have a call to action. So not bad. So now, what are some other technologies? So I have Sora on here. Let's look. Is anyone familiar with Sora?
I think it just made national headlines last week, didn't it?
Did it?
Yeah,
For
creating a movie that was all AI generated, I think.
Is that the one where they have the actress?
I don't know that it was after the actress
It's
thing,
after the
but
actress.
yeah,
It was,
and I don't remember what was so controversial about how,
Yeah.
I think it was just the whole, we don't need actors, we don't need producers, we just can tell, Sora will build it all kind of thing. It was just kind of like alarm in Hollywood.
I have heard of the AI actress. That's interesting. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't believe any of the graphic designers are going away from CGI. That doesn't seem to be happening, but is it going away? If we deploy all these AI actors and actresses, are we then going against kind of where I started? Like, if you're using AI to get rid of the human, I don't think that's great. It should really enhance a human's work. So, could you make an AI avatar that is your stunt double? And Tom Cruise might not be for that. You'd probably still be good with jumping out the airplane and then flying off the cliffs, but can you enhance work that way? I don't know, but I could also see the argument that, well, they're stunt doubles, so they're gonna be getting rid of their jobs. So that's a complicated one. Sora as a platform, it just creates AI generated videos. So I'm sure you guys have heard of like Dolly or some of the image generation, text to image. Sora just basically does text to video. So what I'll do, it oftentimes takes a little bit of time to do that. So what I'm gonna do is just plug in, let's try to see if we can't have it do a little video. Here's Sora, so you have some interesting, I guess these are just images that they have here, but we'll try to make an old one. It does say you're using the old Sora model. They're really wanting you to download the app to get the new Sora model. So try to refresh and try to do that again. So just basically trying to, okay, sorry guys, might not be able to do one more time. Sort of won't work. So we'll skip on, move to that one. But basically, why I wanted to show you guys that is you can have maybe B-roll footage. So I think we put that in there, yeah. Item 4 under demo 1, very, very last thing, create a B-roll clip of describe your scene. So I imagine in our wolf shop idea, maybe we have some Northern college students. In the description, we would need to define the color. If we just say, hey, Northern State University, go create a video of it. Awesome. What's the color? So more information in the prompt is going to make it a little bit better. Wolfrack's probably going to understand that, but maybe there's even some logos that we put into it. So even with the AI actress example, you know, there are people behind that, and I don't, you know, so there is someone that has to train that, has to build out all those scenes. But is that adding work or subtracting work? That's another question, but for you guys here, you know, Sora, Google has is it the Banana? I think they're really pushing into turning an image into a video. So there's some really cool ways where you can get some great social media content just by using these with the video, with the image generation tools. Next on the list, let's see. You know, let's talk about Canva, I guess, because that is a really, really popular one. I won't talk about Notion AI. You guys have heard of Canva, right? You guys, everyone's heard of Canva. Who hasn't used Canva? Cool. So basically, it's well, Kendra, you're probably the power user that I know of Canva. Why would you use Canva?
Basically, you can create different designs or templates, like for a poster, for social media posts, anything you can design them.
Sign a flyer, you got a physical flyer if you want to, with the standard size, have nice templates. You want to, you know, hey, I need a new Facebook, kind of all different templates, a lot of templates. But like we said earlier, I mentioned, they're starting to plug in AI onto their platform. So, you can even, I think they have a tool where, hey, if you're preparing for this presentation, you can just go on there now, I believe, and say, hey, build me a 10 slide deck PowerPoint presentation on working smarter, not harder. That could be done. Wasn't great, maybe, but I might maybe try that and help give you some ideas. So I won't show you any of that, but Canva is really, really nice. I like their tools more and more. CapCut as well. It's really, anyone not heard of CapCut? CapCut video editing, you know, different layers of songs, things like that, where you can, it has some interesting AI where you can basically build out kind of a video script as well. It'll put together like a 1-minute presentation type thing. It uses some really videos, but it could give you a pretty decent structure of, you know, say, hey, let's build out a 1-minute presentation on working smarter, not harder. It'll pull in some like generic artwork, all that kind of stuff, and also put words into that. And so really, really quickly, if you give you some good ideas, I wouldn't say it's deployable though. It needs a human to come in and interact with it and improve that. But those are all really good tools. So move on to Perplexity. That is something that's kind of fun, kind of unique. So I think we did have a few people know Perplexity was on our board, but has anyone not heard of Perplexity? So it's basically, it's an AI web browser. You may say, why, you know, I guess web browser, that'd be a good question. How many people use Google Chrome? Edge. Safari? Most everyone's Chrome, I guess. I think Chrome is going to need to be sold here soon, I've heard, which will be really, really interesting to see who purchases that, based on antitrust thing with Google. That's off the top point. Perplexity is really a web browser that's built on AI. So right now I'm just in the Discover section right here. Say we want to go to tech and science. It's basically going to pull in, how I understand it, is it's actually writing these articles on it based on these 39 source articles of it. So it's really, really unique. I think that it's more accurate than some of the other tools, because it's kind of doing some of that. You still need to discern it. You don't just read it and take it as, but you know, from this one, if we're just, hey, OpenAI forms an expert council on AI and well-being. Well, it's writing this article we can click on here, and it has the 39 sources like we're talking about. So I feel pretty comfortable when I'm getting my news from Perplexity. And the nice thing is too, I can ask it a question. So, you know, whatever, I don't have a sample question here, but if we wanted to ask something directly on the article, we could just type it right in. So another cool one I haven't really used much, but I did use just for this example was Spaces. So I could see this, you know, think about if you're doing like a project, the Spaces could be useful if you have a team where multiple people are needing to maybe do some research on a project. You guys could create this little space. You share the space with your team, and I named the space just let's research the 2026 economic outlook, I probably don't need to do research because the research is actually done down here. And you can see the two here, hey, let's research 2026 Fed MSP outlook. There's different Fed territories, and so Aberdeen is in the Minneapolis territory for it. And then my next question, hey, look, what about 2026? Just focus in on the state of South Dakota. And you can see it has a little bit of information there. And importantly, it's citing sources. And this one is cited with 18 or 19 sources that it went through. It also shows the steps, which I find is very interesting. You're kind of seeing inside the AI box on what is it doing? So, and where is it getting those answers? Images, that's just another fun one based on the search. It might come up with some, cool ideas. If you're, hey, just give me some pheasant hunting images. Let me get a wolves, wolf shot post, but let's get some pheasant image. So, you can always, the more information you plug into any AI, typically the better the results. All right, covered ChatGPT a whole lot, but I guess I know we have former banker in the room you mentioned. So, analyzing data and financial reports, I think that's something that's going to be coming very, very soon. There's the spreadsheet is like the ultimate technology that no one can beat. And I don't know if AI can, but what I am seeing is that you're plugging in now AI into spreadsheets, how it can really connect some other dots that you didn't think of doing, and even helping you build really nice charts. That's probably the most recent example I've really been. They've always been able to suggest different charts, but they're able to sometimes now, you can build like geographic charts. You say, hey, let's create some heat maps based on this data and all different sorts of things. And I know what a heat map is. I wouldn't know how to go build it, but if I can just provide a bunch of data into this AI and let it create it, that's really helpful. Let me go discern, make sure that everything looks appropriate in that report out too. But keep on. There's so many different ways that you can really plug in ChatGPT. But again, ChatGPT, Gemini, all those.
One of my favorite things to use with Perplexity in particular that I think can correlate well to this group, if it's a business, if it's an organization, whatever it may be, is I've plugged in like state plans. So for instance, like the state technology research plan, and I fed it to it, and then I asked it to come up with some things that we can do in Aberdeen, South Dakota with Northern State University, and I kind of fed it its websites. And then it actually pointed me to other groups and other things in other places, but I liked it best because it had the news articles to follow up and go down my own rabbit hole, if that makes sense. So thinking like minds matter. Well, okay, if there's a business area that you would want to maybe explore a little deeper, you could feed that information to Perplexity. And then again, dig a little bit deeper. It's just a really great point when starting to research things, just to kind of go one step farther with why Perplexity, how I personally use it versus like ChatGPT, if that makes sense.
100% right. I appreciate it. So I don't know if this is exact, just real quick random, not sure if that's exact, but basically, it's what is the South Dakota State's tech plan? Again, poorly worded. When I read that South Dakota State, I can see them getting confused with the university. I should have said, what's the state of South Dakota specific? So keep in mind how you're plugging in the information into this is very important, but it's talking a lot about, career and technical education. So I don't think that's exactly maybe what he was talking about, but that's of course been a big focus, and that's where at least Perplexity took and answered my question. Yeah, Kelly.
Both of you have mentioned plugging in a document.
Yeah.
But in both of those cases, those documents are probably available online. So could you not just referencing
Yeah.
the Methodist doctrine, instead of having to feed it in, or what's the benefit of
Great
one way?
question. I'll kind of touch on it and go, it's really good question. Yes, as a one-time, so I didn't put it up here, but I use a lot of custom GPTs. So basically I'm training, and this is a feature within OpenAI. I do find this feature specifically worth paying for the pro model of ChatGPT. Create custom GPTs that I basically can train on common things that I do. So such as we'll just stick to that same example, taking the pastor's transcript and getting a report out I have it run through, a sermon summarizer, and then I have it in a specific report out that I want, so I don't have to type it all out. I literally do is upload a .txt file, which is just text. And it does exactly what I want without any other prompting, so I can go back, reuse it over and over. And the one thing I really like about that is the last part. It's ACT, it's how can I apply the message to me today? How can I, I'm missing the T, how can I, is it challenge? How can I challenge myself? And then T, how can I teach others from this lesson that I'm pulling away? So, that's kind of how I use it in that specific example. Another one, as I'll just mention, I serve on the city council, and so when we have the bills and payroll, I actually use ChatGPT to review all of the bills and payroll, and I have it do a couple different things within that, and then it reports out in the exact same method if I need to abstain on a payment. And again, I did not trust this tool right away. In fact, from a year ago till today, it's improved significantly, where I'm starting to actually feel comfortable with it catching all of the information. And then some of that's just been tweaking it, but that would be a custom GPT where I'm telling it specific information. I'm uploading payroll information, payments from a public source, and I'd like you to organize it. I'd like you to report out and do some different things with it. So, yeah, custom GPT, I could kind of, I wouldn't have to use a custom GPT for that. I could plug it in every time. Hey, I'm uploading a city council agenda or city council payroll section. Could you please do this and report it out? But instead, it's something more, it's almost the start of the AI agent. I kind of feel like now AI agents have taken a whole nother realm in there. I wouldn't, but that would be kind of my early introduction. I thought I'd say instead of having hiring assistant and hey, go put all these, take all this information, put it into a spreadsheet so I can sort and look at all this different information that's going through. It's just doing it in a consistent report that I know where to look for information.
So is that different than like saving a thread that you started? That's.
Yeah, yes.
Custom GPT is something
Yeah.
more specific.
Saving a thread, so caveat, some of the more information you plug into AI, typically the better. But I don't know if you guys have ever had a situation where you're on such a long chat with the model where it's reversing back to like your very first prompt. And it's like, wait, no, I told you I need to make this more friendly. I was too mean in that first one there. So I like it because it's a fresh start, but with the same instructions. Yeah.
A little bit different anecdotal story. I was at a program and the person who's in charge of a customer service team has a thread that they got set up that reviews all correspondence.
Yeah.
So all of her staff people can review that.
Like a Slack or something like that.
It gives them back a rating, the likelihood that she would approve it or not if she were reviewing detail.
Yeah.
And so, try and target, if it's below 60%, you might want to go back and review some things and so forth. But she had an individual in time that was trying so hard to be perfect that it actually messed it up. She said, you don't want to be 100%, you need to be about 93 to 97% if you're lucky. But don't try to go to 100% because it'll totally mess it up again.
That's interesting. Yep. Good example there. So I think, as far as the time check, want to be respectful for you guys' time. I'll go just kind of touch on a couple more here and then love to open up for questions, or else I can hang for a while. I do have some cards up here, but the other two that I wanted to just touch on, actually, I'll kind of just touch over Google Trends. Really encourage you guys to take a look, exactly how much. I like that one because it can tell you what are popular searches, and then you guys should use some of that information in some of, if popular searches for the wolf shop, certain type of clothing styles, whatever it may be, those will show up then on Google Trends, and you might be able to kind of tailor some of your marketing towards that. As far as glass, I want to show you guys this because this is a fascinating one. Very similar to Perplexity, I would say, but a little bit different. So in this example, I'm going to use Glass, and we got the American Insider newspaper, just a sample story here. What Glass can do is I have it installed, it's a Chrome, I use Google Chrome, so I think most of the users do, it's a, they call it an extension, you find it in the Chrome web store. Kendra was gonna show, I was gonna show you guys how to install it, I kind of broke it, so I already have it installed. But basically what I like to do on here, not all the time, but let's just say, hey, I'm short on time, I want this to be summarized. I just hit Command XX, that's all I'll do, and it's basically gonna copy the entire text from on that page within the article. It's gonna say summarize it, and I can customize this too. You know, I'm basically using a very generic, just hey, summarize it, I think maybe a couple bullet points. And you can see, screen, it's really messy, but that is the entire newspaper story right there that it took. Oops. And here it is, an extremely detailed summary followed by a concise 5-point outline. There's also a couple follow-up questions. So Glass is a plugin that you just plug into, you're looking at any website. You don't have to have a Command XX. That's just what I have on my computer. That might be the default. Command XX, it does that, summarizes it. That's nice too, because again, you can ask it follow-up information. I think this is pretty much everything that you need if you're short on time. I don't know actually how concise of a summary that is. It seems like it's about the same length. No, you know, it does a pretty good job there. Last thing I'll touch on, it can also do it for YouTube videos. So I'm a nerd. I like to rabbit trail on things that say, hey, I want to learn about the bizarre bases of antenna towers, but I don't want to spend 18 minutes learning about the bizarre bases of antenna towers. So Glass, it's a little plugin. I'm sure you can see my mouse down here, but basically that little YouTube summary will pop up if you have Glass installed. You click it. It's just going into YouTube then, it's pulling the entire transcript of that. You know, if you can do this with your church pastor, kind of doing that if you want to get some takeaways from that, or basic YouTube video. I think 20 minutes is about the maximum it can really hold just based on the length of a transcript, probably less than 30 minutes for sure, but does a pretty good job here. Introduction and history, it goes down, and it even kind of says the timestamp, so you can kind of see how it's reviewing the information in different segments within the video. For a nice little, again, a 5-point outline of that YouTube. So I think that's really all I had. Let me flip back over here, guys. I guess any questions at all? Anything surprising, guys? Anything that I missed, I guess. Again, I'd love to learn from you guys as well. Okay, hey, I could use some AI tools in a different way. Have you ever thought about this? Yeah, most.
I just want to explain my own personal experience with AI, more particularly the ChatGPT. There is this feature in ChatGPT, which is like a voice recognition. Maybe it's someone who doesn't like reading a lot, so maybe basically talk with ChatGPT. Maybe sometimes you take your class lessons, you put into ChatGPT, summarize, like speak to you, and be like, I didn't understand this I didn't have a better comprehension of this. Can you explain more better? And you guys talk like a person, which is so good. But there's something about ChatGPT which I've been seeing that the weaknesses are very big because my ChatGPT sometimes it speaks in Korea. I did set it by myself, and sometimes I practice Korea and.
You're practicing Korean with ChatGPT.
So sometimes, when I go to the voice recognition, maybe it starts speaking in Korean. So I say, I want us to speak in English right now. And when I sign up, and sign it back, and I tell them, okay, and each time you want to talk to me in English before we can translate in Korean. So sometimes it forgets, it gets back to Korean. I said, next time, speak in English. So these are some of the weaknesses I've discovered about ChatGPT. It doesn't like remember some things, like if you do something like a project with ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT, can you go back to what we did 2 weeks ago? Sometimes it doesn't bring it back. So
yeah,
that is my experience with ChatGPT.
That's another really, I mean, just the language. I mean, I love what you said there, Moses, but that's another really cool part is just, how, with tools, you can easily convert your website fully English into being accessible for 100+ different languages just with other tools. So there's some really cool ones like that that I know people sometimes may be forced to use based on, hey, your business blows up and they need to have a global presence now. There's really awesome tools there. And my kids are trying to learn Spanish a little bit, and I'm encouraging them. They're doing a little bit of Duolingo, that's, for my 7-year-old, that's perfect. But, I'm encouraging, hey, why don't we try, we went to Costa Rica, you guys can get by a little bit on Spanish. You use the AI voice model to try to, hey, I want to try to learn this, teach me how to say it. And so you guys know what we're talking about on the voice model of ChatGPT, where you just click a button and it's almost like there's a live person back there for you. So that's a really, really good one. Thanks for bringing that up. Any other questions, guys? Any other comments? Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious about how to best use AI for, like data processing, basic data processing, right? So you download, let's say 100 online registrations, right?
Yes.
Formatted into a spreadsheet. I think you had mentioned earlier about how there might be errors in that, right?
Sure.
Like it might not be 100% true, and that might be fine, but you talk about phone numbers, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious about how they're using AI to summarize. I'm curious about how they're using AI models to, predict for data, right? Really tedious tasks, like take all these names, phone names, addresses, put them in a spreadsheet, go.
Yep. There's a lot of, I haven't, one that comes up, and I apologize, I asked Kendra to take this one off. It was a GPT for Sheets, I think was one, that's a plugin that's plugged into Google Sheets where you can start, it basically is only looking at your information. Ideally, you're kind of defining cells or ranges that you're asking it to go report on. So GPT for Sheets is a really interesting one. Depending, I don't think Google Notebook LM, but Notebook LM is a really good one. I haven't used it for like numbers and like database stuff, but as far as like, 100 of, top, what do you call it? The little quarterly reports, upload, all of the S&P 500's quarterly reports into, Google Notebook LM, and then report back on, hey, what did the last quarter look like in the economy based on sources? It actually, Google Notebook LM doesn't go off and search the internet. It only searches the sources that you upload. So I'm guessing there's going to be tools like that ChatGPT, it goes out and researches the internet. But when it first was dropped in 2022, it didn't. That was something that we really wanted. People, it's like, oh man, this could be so much better if you could search the internet. So we got that for it, but then that opened up, other problem as well. Maybe it's searching, is it searching the most recent, quarterly report, or is that 2020 quarterly report Q4? What report is it? Whereas Notebook LM, it's not searching the internet at all, only can answer with the source documents that you put in, and still then hyperlinking and referencing that as well. So it's a good question on the database. We use Monday for our CRM at our office, and I've noticed they put in Sidekick. I just started using it a little bit. I'm trying to see what it can do. One I tried to post today, which it didn't do, was, hey, go read all of my specific note types and report back on employee counts in a table. It couldn't find the specific field in the database that's very, that's there. So I'm hoping that that'll expand where it can eventually go out and pull that, within its, but again, it could be I'm guessing some of these tools that already exist, like we talked about Canva, plugging in AI. I'm guessing, HubSpot, Salesforce, they're fully adopting AI. It's fascinating what you can do with some of those with, all your workflows. I don't know if you guys are familiar with HubSpot and Salesforce, but those guys are the AI agent world, and that's going to be a very interesting call centers, customer service, how it can disrupt some of those.
QuickBooks is also getting into AI.
Who's that?
QuickBooks.
QuickBooks. Oh, yeah, the financial, some of that Well, I appreciate you guys coming. Thank you so much. I think I'll hand it over. Feel free if you guys have any questions. Don't want to ask in front of the room. I totally get it. My LinkedIn's up there, cell phone, email as well. But appreciate you guys.
Well, let's express our gratitude for Ritz. I can't always put slides in here. I never know what they are. First of all, we want to hear what you thought about today's workshop. So if you wouldn't mind either scanning the QR code on your tablet, you can scan this big one behind me. And it will go out in the email you all will be receiving tomorrow. That will also include, the link to the recording of the workshop today. I am dead serious. We look at every single feedback form, and this is how we decide on the programming that we will provide, the next semester. To be honest with us, if you have a big idea for a workshop, if, you learned something today that you're like, well, I'd like to go deeper in that, please, please, please let us know. And then also, we have our startup weekend coming up, which we use the co-starter model. We call it a co-starter boot camp. This is a Saturday and Sunday, an all-day sort of thing where you come in with your business idea and we will quite literally build your business. This is free for you to attend, and available in person as well as online. So come check out the weekend and then, like, we had do all the things. And then that following week, we're doing something, collaborating with other rural economic development groups from across the state of South Dakota. And we are going to be offering a 100% online, co-starter boot camp. It's basically the same curriculum that we'll be doing the weekend. We're gonna be doing it for a full week, Monday through Friday over the noon. We'll kick off at 11:30, and then from 12 to 1 will be kind of the programming. And then from 1 to 1:30 will kind of be a little bit of a report out. So this, again, is a statewide initiative. We're collaborating with Dakota Resources, to provide this. So if you're sitting here and you're like, wow, I really know somebody from wherever in South Dakota that could really benefit from this, this is the program for them. So if you have any questions about any of these things, please reach out to us. You have one more? Oh, I have one more. I literally never know what's in here. Okay. Start Strong with Bail is by far one of my most favorite, other than Rich's workshop, one of my most favorite workshops that we do every year. So BAIL stands for Banking, Accounting, Insurance, and Legal. So this workshop, we are providing experts in each of those 4 areas. We'll have a panel discussion where they will share 1 to 2 things every founder should not do or should do. And then we will use the remainder of the time for kind of a round robin, where you will be given, like 5-ish minutes to kind of visit with that area expert, get some free advice, maybe a good starting point for whatever you're working on or for whatever you're doing. So this is by far one of our highest attended workshops, and most intentional workshops that we do. So with that, I say thank you for attending. We hope to see you again. Rich will be sticking around if you have any questions. And again, if you have any questions, we will be sending out that email to you tomorrow, so we can always schedule a follow-up conversation. So thank you all for being here.